Now sit down at your desk, open your laptop, and stare at the screen. There's something important waiting for you. Maybe a report. Maybe something you promised yourself you would finally finish today. You take a breath, place your hands on the keyboard, and just as you're about to begin, your phone lights up. You glance at it for a second, just 1 second. Then another notification appears. Then another. And before you realize it, you're lying back in your chair watching a random video you didn't even search for. Minutes pass. Then more minutes. And suddenly you feel tired. But strangely, nothing has actually been. Have you ever had a moment like this? Because if you have, this might surprise you. It's not because you're lazy. It's because your attention is being hijacked. Imagine a simple scene. A stick figure sits at a desk, trying to focus. The room is quiet. The laptop is open. Everything seems ready. Then suddenly, a small buzz comes from the phone. The character turns their head, checks it quickly, then turns back. 2 seconds later, another buzz, then another, then a message pops up on the screen. Each time the character's head moves back and forth, over and over again. It looks harmless, almost insignificant. But inside the brain, something exhausting is happening. Every time you switch your attention, your brain doesn't just pause and resume. It resets. It has to rebuild context. Remember what you were doing, what you were thinking, and what problem you were solving. And here's where it gets interesting. Part of your attention doesn't come back. It stays stuck on the previous task. Psychologists call this attention residue. And that means even when you return to your work, you're not fully there. So you sit at your desk all day, feeling busy, switching between tasks, replying to messages, checking notifications, opening new tabs. But at the end of the day, you feel like you barely moved forward. But here's the part most people don't realize. The real problem isn't distraction. It's the belief that we can handle it. Picture another scene. A stick figure sits at a desk with 2 open books. They read 1 sentence from the first book, then immediately switch to the second book, then back again. Sentence by sentence, back and forth. After a while, the character looks confused. Nothing makes sense anymore. The story is broken. The ideas don't connect. And yet, this is exactly how most people use their brain every day. We call it multitasking. But in reality, the brain is just switching rapidly. And every switch comes with a cost. Now imagine something different. The same character sits at the same desk. But this time, the phone is turned upside down. The screen is silent. There is only 1 document open. Nothing else. At first, the character feels uncomfortable. They stare at the screen. Their leg starts shaking. Their eyes wander. The brain is craving stimulation. Something quick. Something easy. Something rewarding. And this is where most people quit. They reach for the phone again, open another tab, escape the discomfort. But if the character stays, something interesting begins to happen. Slowly, the mind starts to settle. The noise fades. Thoughts begin to connect. Ideas start forming. And without even noticing, they begin to work. Have you ever felt that moment? That quiet shift where focusing suddenly becomes easier? Most people never reach that point because they leave too early. And this leads to something deeper. Focus is not about forcing yourself harder. It's about staying long enough for your brain to adjust. Now imagine a different scenario. A stick figure walks into a room filled with flashing lights, loud music, colorful objects moving everywhere. Then someone hands them a book and asks them to read. The character looks overwhelmed. Their eyes keep jumping from one thing to another. They can't stay still, not because they are lazy, but because the environment is chaos. And if you look closely, this is exactly what our digital world looks like. Notifications, messages, videos, endless scrolling, constant stimulation. Your brain is surrounded by noise. And then we expect ourselves to sit down and focus, like nothing is happening. So the first real step to building focus is not discipline. It's environment. Picture the character again. But this time, they clear their desk, they place their phone in a drawer, they close unnecessary tabs. The space becomes quiet, simple, controlled. Suddenly, the task in front of them feels lighter. Not because the task changed, but because the environment did. Small changes, but powerful impact. But then something else appears. The character opens a to-do list. 10 tasks, maybe more. Each one feels important. Each one demands attention. The character stares at the list, frozen, unsure where to begin. Their mind starts racing. What should I do first? What if I choose wrong? What if I don't finish? And instead of starting, they lean back, grab their phone again, and the cycle repeats. This is not laziness. This is overwhelm. And here's a simple shift that changes everything. Instead of trying to finish everything, the character picks one task, not the whole task, just the first step. They open the document and write one sentence. Just one. Nothing more. It sounds too simple to matter. But something powerful happens. The moment they start, the brain switches modes. From thinking to doing. From planning to action. And once movement begins, momentum follows. But here's the interesting part. Even when you remove distractions, even when you start small, there is still something that can quietly destroy your focus. And most people don't even realize it's there. It's not your phone. It's not your environment. It's your energy. And this is where everything starts to change. Imagine this. A stick figure sits alone at a desk, late at night. The room is quiet. The lights are dim. The laptop is open in front of them. Everything is finally distraction-free. No notifications, no noise, no interruptions. This should be the perfect moment to focus. But something feels off. The character stares at the screen. Their eyes move slowly. Their thoughts feel heavy. Like trying to run through mud. They type a few words. Stop, delete them, check their phone again, even though nothing new is there. Then stare back at the screen. Stuck. Have you ever experienced that feeling? Where everything is quiet, but your mind just won't cooperate? This is where most people get confused. They think they lack discipline, but in reality, they lack energy. Focus is not just a skill, It's a resource. And your brain burns a massive amount of energy just to think, decide, and stay on task. So when that energy drops, focus is the first thing to disappear. And here's where it becomes more interesting. Energy is not just about sleep. It's also about what your mind is carrying. Picture another scene. A stick figure walks into a room, carrying a stack of heavy boxes. Each box has a label. One says, "Unfinished tasks." Another says, "Messages I need to reply to." Another says, "Things I forgot." Another says, "Decisions I haven't made." Another says, "Worries." The character tries to sit down and work, but they're still holding all the boxes. Their arms are shaking. Their posture is tense. They can't move freely. This is exactly what your brain feels like when it's overloaded. Even if you're sitting still, your mind is not. It's juggling everything at once. And this leads to a powerful effect most people never notice. Your brain doesn't like unfinished things. It keeps bringing them back. Quietly. Constantly. In the background. So even when you try to focus on one task, part of your attention is still stuck somewhere else. And this is why clarity matters more than motivation. Imagine the same character again. But this time, instead of holding 10 boxes, they put 9 of them down. They keep only one. A single clear task. Suddenly their body relaxes. Their movement becomes easier. Their mind feels lighter. Not because life became simple, but because the direction became clear. Now here's a question for you. Have you ever sat down to work, but your mind kept jumping to everything else you needed to do? That's not lack of focus. That's lack of clarity. But here's where things get even more subtle. Even if you have energy, even if you have clarity, there is still one thing that can break your focus instantly. Interruptions. Picture a stick figure sitting at a desk, finally focused, typing steadily, their eyes locked on the screen. Then suddenly, someone taps their shoulder. The character turns around, answers quickly, turns back to the screen, tries to continue. A few minutes later, another tap, another question. Then, another interruption. After an hour, the character looks exhausted, even though they barely made progress. Because every interruption forces the brain to restart. And restarting is expensive. Some studies suggest it can take over 20 minutes to fully return to deep focus after a distraction. Now imagine being interrupted every 10 minutes. You never actually reach deep focus. You stay stuck in shallow work all day. Busy, but not effective. And this is why protecting your attention is not optional anymore. It's essential. Sometimes it means turning on Do Not Disturb. Sometimes it means finishing your work before opening messages. Sometimes it means saying, "I'll get back to you later." And yes, it can feel uncomfortable. But think about this. If you don't control your attention, something else will. Now let's look at something even deeper. Burnout. Picture a stick figure working late into the night. Eyes tired. Shoulders slumped. Coffee cups stacked on the desk. They keep pushing, telling themselves they need to do more. Be more productive. Work harder. But as time passes, their movements slow down. Their thinking becomes foggy. They start reaching for easy distractions again. Scrolling, watching, escaping. Because exhaustion doesn't improve focus. It destroys it. When your brain is tired, it looks for the fastest reward possible. And that's rarely meaningful work. This is why rest is not laziness. It's part of the system. Short breaks, stretching, walking, drinking water, sleeping properly, all of these restore your brain's ability to focus again. But here's the deeper idea behind everything we've talked about. Focus is control. Control over where your attention goes. Control over what you respond to. Control over what you ignore. And in today's world, that control is rare. Most people don't choose what they focus on. Their phone chooses. Their notifications choose. Algorithms choose. Their attention is constantly pulled in different directions. But a focused mind works differently. Picture one final scene. A stick figure walks into a quiet room, sits down at a desk, places their phone face down, slightly out of reach, opens one document, takes a breath, and begins. Minutes pass. Then more minutes. Their posture becomes steady, their eyes remain fixed. No switching. No checking, just one task. From the outside, it looks simple. Almost boring. But inside the brain, something powerful is happening. Connections are strengthening. Attention is stabilizing. The brain is learning that it can stay. And over time, this becomes easier. Focus stops feeling like a fight and starts feeling natural. But this doesn't happen from motivation alone. It comes from small systems, repeated daily, a clean environment, fewer distractions, clear next steps, working on one thing at a time, managing your energy, protecting your attention, and slowly, your mind becomes sharper, stronger, more controlled. So let's bring everything back to 3 simple principles. First, your brain is not built for constant noise. If you want focus, you must reduce what competes for your attention. Second, clarity beats motivation. When you know exactly what to do next, starting becomes easier. Third, consistency builds focus. Small sessions of deep work repeated daily are more powerful than rare bursts of effort. Focus is not something you either have or don't have. It's something you train. And the more you train it, the more control you gain over your life. So let me ask you something. What is one thing you've been avoiding? Something you started, but never finished. A project. An idea. A goal. Something that still sits quietly in the back of your mind. What would happen if today you simply opened it again? Not to finish everything. Just to begin. Because sometimes the smallest step creates the biggest shift. If this made you reflect on your own habits, share your thoughts in the comments. What distracts you the most during your day? And what helps you focus better? And if you want to understand more about how your mind works and how to take control of it, consider subscribing. Because every video here is about helping you think clearer, feel stronger, and live more intentionally.